The show is about to start. Thank you for your cooperation. Enjoy the show, and please come back and visit us again.
Damn right we're in trouble. It's getting, or it's seeming to be getting worse every single week. But despite that, I welcome you to the 9 Years Podcast, episode 103, Thursday the 12th of October 2017, iTunes, YouTube and 9yrspodcast.org. I am Nick Draper, joined as always by Stuart Deakins, and we have nothing to say, which might be a bit of a problem for a podcast. But really, reviewing AFC Wimbledon this season has become an exercise in repeating ourselves and banging our heads against a brick wall. We're going to try and squeeze an hour's worth of content out this week. We're going to revisit the old chestnut of ticket prices and televised games, as well as previewing the trip to Northampton this weekend. But first, Oxford away. And Stu, we are awful. We are so bad. And considering we kept the same team that had started the previous two games, and we didn't score for the fourth game in a row, the only real thing I can think that was different this week was Neil Ardley's reaction, where he basically put the responsibility onto the shoulders of the players. Is that a wise move in your opinion, and why?
Well, we'll soon find out if it's a wise decision based on how we go moving forward to Northampton. And then what we have to say is just an absolute awful week of fixtures with Rotherham and Plymouth coming up. We've got a really busy point of the season, games coming thick and fast. Personally, I wasn't over impressed that he sold the players out. If you're unhappy, then yeah, you can say you're disappointed, etc. But I felt he just sort of sold the players out, that they didn't follow his instructions, and I was a little bit, he tried to then camouflage it a little bit by saying the last 6 games we had played all right, the stats were good. It's just mixed messages, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You have to wonder now. There's some players out there who I didn't feel put in what I would call a proper shift. And if he alienates those players, then that's going to be problems. Of course, if it flips the other way and he gets them players back on side and they maybe have a little bit of soul searching this week, then it works. But I worry it could have a negative impact.
It was our heaviest defeat of the season, but was it really our worst performance? I thought what Neil Ardley said, he probably could have said with a lot of justification in previous performances that were worse than the Oxford one, despite the scoreline.
Yeah, do you know what? I've heard a few people say to me Oxford weren't that great. They scored the goals, but they didn't really dominate. I think Oxford never got out of second gear against us. I think some people are underestimating how good that Oxford team is. I was really impressed with them. But in terms of worst performances, no, I think we got beaten by a very good Oxford team. I think there's been worse performances. I think, some of the home performances, Shrewsbury, Portsmouth, yeah, the Rochdale, stinking performances. I could half accept getting beat by Oxford. They played lovely football. They're very patient, played between the lines, very good triangles, always had a run on. So, where we were standing, where sometimes we were literally standing marking, they always had a runner that would go into space. They were just I just think they were very, very good. And people that think they were average, I think are missing a little bit of the fact that they never had to get anywhere near into top gear to beat us. But it's another poor performance, isn't it? It's another poor performance, but it's definitely not our worst.
So what was different about this one, aside from the scoreline, that got Neil Ardley quite so upset with his squad? Or do you think he was hiding or masking how poor previous performances were, and that left him with nowhere to go this week, if you know what I mean? He couldn't come out this week again and say the same things he's been saying, could he?
No, he couldn't. And he come over to the away fans, as he always does with the players. I'll be truthful, he didn't come too close. No. Because there were a few people that were not happy. Few people that I know were really... there was a mixture of anger towards the players as well as Neil Ardley. It felt to me more... percentage-wise, it was probably more 70% towards the players. But there's a good 20-30% at the moment who are towards Neil Ardley. He didn't come too close. So you have to think that he got a reaction. No one booed, no one... no one booed during the game, if I'm being true. There's a few choice sayings to people, but I think he would have got an understanding. But I think you hit it nail on the head. He couldn't come out and say anything other. He had to accept responsibility. I don't say he did accept responsibility, but he had to accept that we had 540 something fans that went to Oxford for a team that's not playing well. That's pretty good going.
Looking at the players, then, if you're saying that a lot of our fans' angst was towards the players more than Neil Ardley, which players in particular were getting grief? And in your opinion, was it merited?
Well, the funny thing was, the players that were getting grief were, believe it or not, George Frankham and Cody McDonald, which I found quite surprising. It flipped a little bit. I think, the scapegoat would always be George Frankham, and I think we have some fans that no matter what happens, it's George's fault. And we have to accept that.
It's like Roman Reigns. Yeah. Like, he's always going to get booed no matter what he does.
The funny thing was, it then actually meant people actually went the other way, and there's only one George Frankham for a little bit to basically stick two fingers up to the few fans that were giving him grief. Cody McDonald's got a lot. Cody's just, to me now, Cody is doing things that are not his game. He's going to areas to try and get the ball. He's doing what Lyle does, where Lyle runs to right back. But Cody, there was a bit where Cody had a really bad touch, went out for a throw, and then he run towards to get the ball when he was never going to take the throw. But it felt like he had to go and redeem himself. And, Barry Fuller was on the right-hand side. Barry Fuller told him to go away. Go away. But, but he did things that I felt looked like he was really under pressure, really panicking. And then, of course, he got subbed, didn't he? Liam Trotter gets grief continuously, and I can understand it. I said to you before, he plays at 70-80% capacity. He needs someone to put a rocket up his proverbials, but he's running around as if he's playing in a team that's getting promoted, not a team that's actually down in the bottom four now. So I'd say they're the three that were getting the main grief.
Liam Trotter, for me, is the one that I would have given grief to. I look at him, I look at Tom Sawers, who's been with us quite a while now, played quite a few games for us, and is it fair that I'm looking at both of those and asking, why are you here? What are you offering to us? They don't seem to contribute anything and haven't done.
Yeah, well, Tom Sawers only been in for a couple of games, to be fair to him. But
I'm thinking the tail end of last season as well.
Yeah.
Did he?
I was with you.
Was he even there?
No, and I said to you, didn't I, in the last season, I said that Tom Sawers had come from Bury, who, well, everyone beat Bury, didn't they, last year?
We scored 5 goals. We scored 5 goals twice against. We scored 10 goals in a week against Bury. We scored more goals against Bury in the space of 5 days than we have in the last 23 matches.
Yeah, but anyone coming out of Bury team was never going to come into our team, who was also, when he came into a team, we were starting to go in that downward patch, weren't we? That downward spiral. So he coming into a team that wasn't playing that well anyway. So I always said Tom Sawyer needed a summer pre-season regroup, start again. But he's gone injured, and he's come back into probably a worse team than he did last season. And I think, I may be foolish, but I do think Tom Sawyer's has got something to offer. He's just not doing it. And I don't think the midfield helps him. We set up against Oxford. As soon as you seen the team line up, you knew exactly how we were going to play. 2 holding midfielders and Dean Parrott to break from deep. You could see it a mile off. We were never going to attack heavily. But you're going to Oxford with 2 holding midfielders who, with all due respect, didn't do their jobs. And then Dean Parrott gets injured, gets whacked. Looks like we might have lost him now for a couple of weeks. He was playing okay. But it feels if that's how we're setting up, it puts an awful lot of onus onto Dean Parrott to go, well, you've got to make it happen. It sort of forces him. He's got a big job to do. But yeah, they're not doing it. You sort of look at it now, and you go in. People are looking at it now, going, we're overloaded in midfield, and yes, we are. And that's probably due to the fact Antti Hartigan's come in. I suppose if Antti Hartigan hadn't come in and done as well as what we thought of, I don't believe for any second that he was planned to be a first team starter. He was always believed to be a bench player.
Yeah.
So now you've got you're overloading midfielders. You've got Tom Sawers, Liam Trotter, you've got Jimmy Abdu, all played a similar role. We don't know if Jimmy Abdu now is trusted in there, because since he got sent off against Fleetwood, was it? Blackpool, sorry, same place, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just down the road, isn't it? Since he got sent off there, it doesn't look like he's not started a game one game, I think, since then, hasn't he?
I don't think he has started, has he? He was on the bench when he came back in.
Yeah, so what's got on there? Do you know what I mean? It's just, we are top heavy with midfielders, and unfortunately midfielders who are not either on form or don't seem to really know what it. It's just the midfield. People are starting to say it now big time, and of course Andy Hartigan sat on the bench on Saturday. It's great, even with the substitution, he didn't come on. So are we going are we going now to protect Andy Hartigan when actually, do you know what, get him out there?
Yeah, that was going to be my question. Is it done to protect him and for the wish of not wanting to bring him into a struggling team and experience that? But something needs to change in that midfield for Northampton, doesn't it? Because Dean Parrott, as you say, is going to be out. But I wanted to talk about those two midfielders, Soares and Trotter. And we were going to go through all the goals and see what went wrong with them. The third goal, let's start with that one, because this is where, for me, the midfield is most culpable. And I don't know if they'd given up by this stage or what happened. But that third goal, there was no pressure on the ball at any point. And there was no one tracked the runner who got in behind. So is that laziness from Trotter and Soares, our defensive midfielders? Or was that because they've been told to not press in those areas and maintain their shape and keep behind the ball at all times?
Pass. I don't know, to be honest with you. The goal looked like a training ground goal, didn't it?
They were walking through. They were strolling through.
It was a training ground goal. And I think that's where Oxford done us, because Oxford come alive in certain areas. So this is where I think some fans have been fooled a little bit by saying that they don't believe Oxford are actually very good because they're not a high-tempo team or they did it when they wanted to. But that was it. They come alive in certain areas, and they went from slow to quick. Extremely good, do you know what I mean? And we can't go from slow to quick. We go medium to slow.
From slow to very slow.
That's where we were. But yeah, it's again, you have to wonder, is Neil Hardy trying to camouflage it again? Because he sort of said, well, I'm not going to care about the third goal because the game is over by then. But actually, you and I are looking, going, that's symbolic of our season at the moment, or players not, or saying symbolic of the season, that's harsh. Symbolic of the recent couple of games where we're not seeing that Wimbledon hunger or fight, and that's what's really starting to worry a few fans. And if it wasn't for the fact that Oxford didn't really go for the juggler, we could have ended up having a similar score that Bristol Rovers had against Northampton on Saturday.
Are we, or were we, spoiled last season with Jake Reeves and Danny Boorman and the energy that they offered? Even
Probably.
Danny Boorman at 64 years of age, getting up and down. But do you know what I mean? They were that third goal doesn't happen for me with those two in centre midfield because they wouldn't have allowed it. One of them would have pressed the ball or gone in for a tackle, probably Danny Boorman. Jake Reeves would have probably chucked. I know we talked about Jake Reeves' defensive awareness not being so good, but I don't think you need much defensive awareness to have realised they had a runner in that no one had followed.
Yeah, and Joe, what's really interesting at the moment is that we had no real choice about Jake Reeves. Bradford put a bid in, a decent enough bid. I still think they got him on the cheap for the quality he is. But they put a bid in, we accepted it as a gentleman's agreement, and Reeves went, accept that. But it's a great point you're saying, because actually we let we let Danny Boorman go on the premises that we were going to get a better player in. Well, at the moment, why the hell do we let him go? Because I'd quite happily have a Danny Boorman in our midfield at the moment than I would a Liam Trotter. I haven't seen enough of Jimmy Abdou at the moment, but something strikes me at the moment with Jimmy Abdou is he didn't play loads of games last year. He played 12 league games last year for Millwall. So is he at that right level at the moment to come into a job in League One for us? Just if he's not starting games and stuff, I know he's in international duty, but I will be interested to see what happens when he comes back. But yeah, we were spoiled with Jay Reeves. You can't, but that was his. We had no control over that. But Danny Boorman, yeah, do you know what I mean? He was an aging Danny Boorman, but he looks like he's a lot younger than Liam Trotter at the moment, because Liam Trotter don't run half as much as Danny Boorman does. And Danny Boorman had the intelligence, it seemed, to know where the danger was. Where at the moment we don't know where the danger is at all.
No, well, we know where the danger isn't, and that's towards the goal we're attacking. There's no danger there whatsoever. But okay, I know Neil Hardy didn't really speak too much about the third goal. He spoke about the other ones. Let's just go through them, because otherwise we're just going to be talking about the same things we talk about every week, aren't we? About us and our tempo and everything like that. But Okay, first goal. Let's cast our minds back to the first goal. What did the centre halves do wrong?
Well, do you know what? They had a real tough time, actually, Deji and Will, up against their forward, whose name's forsaken me in a moment. I'm sure you... Yeah,
Thomas.
He was very good, actually. But Deji... It's interesting, actually, right, because I've noticed this a few times. If Deji loses the physical battle, he sometimes gets a little bit overpowered and it goes... But plays...
Well, yes.
What I mean by that, yeah.
Hence why...
What I mean by that, though, but doesn't... If he's out-battled or players stronger than him, sometimes he doesn't have that defensive awareness to do something different, if that makes any sense. So he would try and use his strength, but if he's out-battled, then he can't drop off and go, actually, do you know what, you're stronger than me, but actually I'm going to drop off a little bit and use my pace and you're not going to get past me. He tries to do the battle. If you look at the ball, he's wrong side, then the two of them don't communicate. I don't see any communication between the two. Thomas is then able to shift it and then get a shot off. It's a really poor goal. It's a really poor goal because someone's got to, surely you push him away from the area, but you've got to talk. But Thomas gave him a difficult time the whole time. They never got to grips with him. I don't think they ever got to grips of who should take him. Deji was the one that looked like it was assigned to have a go at him, but then I would have said if Deji was struggling, let Will have a go at him. But the thing that's disappointing at the moment, and we're talking about the goals, but there's no leadership at the moment either. There's no communication. It's just a case of when goals go in, I very much want to look at my players and see how are you reacting. But it was just heads down, walk back to the halfway line. I didn't see anybody geeing him up. I didn't see Lyle Taylor saying, "Come on, boys." Didn't see our captain do anything. It was just okay. It's accepted. We haven't got a goalkeeper that's going to bawl and shout and scream. We've not had that for. I try to think the last goalkeeper we had that bawled and screamed. I don't think we've ever had one, have we? Really? But that's not to have a go at George Long. That's not have a go at all. But what I mean is, there's just no one sort of going, "That's rubbish," or "Come on, guys." The only person, the only time I've seen it happen was in the Tottenham game, the Tottenham under 23 game, where it seemed that everyone was having a go at the kids as such, been talking like that, but. Nothing. It was just a really poor goal.
What about the second goal? Who takes the blame in your opinion? For me, guess what? It's Liam Trotter.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the goal off the top of my head if I'm being truthful. It's the one where he come across and he knocked it in. He knocked it in. Yeah,
but it's the throw-in. It's our throw-in, which we lose possession from.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And Trotter loses the ball, doesn't track back.
But it's like sometimes he offloads his persons. It's like... he's gone past me, rather than me tracking back, he'll offload it, you take him, or someone else will pick him up. But they just got through too easy, didn't they? And then the thing is, like I say, when it comes across the box, it's an easy tap in. If it had been us in an attacking third, I don't think we would have scored it. And that's not. Yeah.
He finished it. He finished it well.
It's not to belittle our attack, but he's still got a bit to do from there, hasn't he? But does really well. Then he gets on target, goes in. Game over. People started leaving at that point, to be honest with you.
They probably could have left after the first one, to be honest.
Well, I know there was a couple near us who actually booked a taxi as soon as the second goal went in.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but you need to at Oxford because it's a hell of a place to get out of.
Well, yes, you do. To be fair, it's quite a distance, right? Last couple of bits to tidy up about this horrendous Oxford game. Don't know how we've managed to talk about it for nearly 20 minutes, but we have. Barry Fuller. I wanted to reference this because I messaged you the other evening talking about Gary Neville, who was on Sky the other night, Monday night, and he was saying that towards the end of his career at Manchester United, he knew his legs had gone and he felt that he was a burden on the team, thought he was, even said to Alex Ferguson, "I'm going to cost you. I'm going to cost you games. I'm going to cost you goals at this stage, the way I am at the moment." So he retired before he did that. Are we in that situation with Barry Fuller right now? Same position, same worries. Maybe.
It's. I suppose I don't. Barry Fuller's been a great servant for us, hasn't he? So I suppose I'm a little bit that thing at the moment. I'm hoping Barry will just get over this bad patch and improve. I don't think it's going to happen.
You don't. The thing is, Gary Neville retired at the right time because he will still be remembered as an absolute legend. You don't want to go down, or do you know what I mean? And almost spoil that by having if Barry continues the way he is for the entire season this season, it's going to be a very sad end.
Yeah, and you're right. And you're right, isn't it? You know, and this is what I said by the captain leading by example, but if you've got a captain that must feel that he's not at the top of his game, is he going to bawl and shout at people when actually you could be called into? Well, why are you having a go at me? You're not. Do you know what I mean? It feels like we've got a captain at the moment who, and Barrowford has never been a baller. He's never been a shouter, has he? Or he has immense respect for his attitude and stuff like that. And I hear he's really great in the dressing room in terms of that. But on the pitch, he's not your typical like captain, like balls out of players and calls them out.
No.
But at the moment, I think he's struggling with his own game. So why are you going to? Your captain, in a way, you could ask the question: does he need to be relieved of his captain duty for him to concentrate just on his game?
Could we not stick George Frankham at right back and Callum Kennedy at left back for now until John Meads returns, wherever that will be?
Possibly. Toby Sibbick's always an intriguing option, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Did nothing wrong in the Tottenham under-23 game. I know that's against kids.
And also, it's again the same argument we had earlier for Anthony Hartigan. Do you really want to chuck in Toby Sibbick into this team right now?
But where do you go, though, with that? Because you're right. Would you chuck Toby in? Would you chuck Alfie Egan in? Would you chuck Anthony Hartigan in?
No.
Well, when would you chuck Karja
yeah,
in?
I'd chuck Karja in. Yeah.
But is he any different to? He's the same age. He's the same age as Anthony.
No, he's not.
Actually, no, he's Alfie. Sorry, isn't he?
He's like 21, isn't he now?
So you got is he 21 now?
He made his debut a couple of years
possibly.
ago, didn't he? Away at Luton. So.
Yeah, so he's a bit more switched. He's a bit more advanced.
Yeah.
But experience-wise, he's not.
No.
He's no more experienced in first-team football than
True.
the other lots are. But where do you go with this? Because if at the moment, do you go, well, this is a game for our senior pros, and with all due respect to all our senior pros, I don't see many of them having great games at the moment. So do you chuck the kids in that are fearless? Because if you don't chuck Sibbick in at some point, you're never going to chuck them in because it's going to be a relegation battle all season. And where we say that we're going to, it's one goal that goes in is going to turn our season. Let's get real, that ain't going to happen, is it?
This is going to pain me to say, but you've probably stumbled on the crux of the issue here. You say, with the senior players and the form they're in, is it worth chucking the youngsters in because they're fearless and they might not feel it? Would they be fearless in this team the way that Neil Ardley sets us up to play?
Well, he doesn't let the shackles off, does he? Neil Ardley has a way that he wants to play. He's very meticulous on how he wants his team to set up, tracking back, all that sort of defensive setup. But that isn't working at the moment. And supposedly he let the shackles off for the Gillingham game and the Blackburn game, I believe. No,
not the Blackburn game at all. Sorry,
The Gillingham game he did, didn't he?
The Gillingham game he did. Sorry, this has cropped off about the Blackburn game. I just have to put this one straight. The reason we won at Blackburn is because, as I said at the time, that is the ideal game for Neil Ardley to set up and play against a team that the onus is on them to attack. He can set us up nice and defensively. We're not expected to get anything, so no one's going to question it or argue with it. We sit back, we try and hit them on the counter, and that's exactly what we did.
But we can't
do that at home to Rochdale, at home to Portsmouth.
No, but we have to laugh. I know it's all about swings and roundabouts, but we have to laugh. If we didn't get them 3 points at Blackburn,
I know,
because we're not exactly getting. How many times have we got maximum points this season?
Twice.
Yeah. So, we got a great win at Blackburn. That's not taking away the fact that it was a great win. But if we didn't get a win, I know we could say, well, if you scored a late goal against Gillingham, I know there's a whiffs and buts and those sort of things. But, the Blackburn win was a good win. But me personally, I wouldn't chuck all the kids in because that's just suicide. But you have to argue, does Toby Sibbick go in there and have a game? Anthony Hartigan, I don't understand the logic of that. Protect the kid. It's crazy to protect the kid because actually he's one of our best players in midfield. So why are we protecting someone that can actually get yourself? And we have to be truthful at the moment. Neil Ardley is coming under pressure should he still continue as the manager? We can go on that. We're not going to go on the fact should he be sacked on that because I think that's at the moment not where we should go just yet. But he is under pressure for his job. He's showing the visible signs. But is he not going to play as a 17-year-old because he's too young? push comes to shove, I'll chuck him in. He's your best midfielder at the moment.
He's only our best midfielder, though, because we had to chuck him in, if you remember, for the Brentford game, because we had no other options. So it's a little bit of circumstance there, isn't there? You wonder if we'd have had those midfield options for Brentford, how much we'd have seen of Hartigan this season, which is... That's a hypothetical, I know.
I think he may, I know you're saying. I think he may have got in anyway because I think, from understanding, he was training really, really well. So, and we know Neil Hardy likes people to train well in the week to get them into the squad on a match day. So I think he probably would have got his place, but you're right. Would he have got it that early? Yeah, you're probably right in that. But him sitting on the bench at the moment just seems crazy. Just seems absolutely crazy.
Finally, then, we didn't run a man of the match poll this week, as genuinely couldn't think of anyone who deserved it. If you were to pick a man of the match for us, who would you pick? Yeah. Should we just end it there? Because I think that sums up.
Yeah,
all, doesn't it?
I couldn't give you anyone that stood out. I don't think they all played rubbish.
No,
I couldn't tell you anyone that actually did a 7 or 8 out of 10 performance. They all were around about 6s on Saturday.
Yeah, we haven't got one. We're just going to write that one off the same way we did for the Milton Keynes game, I think. And finally, I said finally last time, and we still got more to do. But for the moment, for the Oxford game, it is time for this. Darius Charleston has returned. And Stu, I know the scores this week, I'm not going to lie, so it's just you guessing. Cool. Craig Will forward. This is for Darius Charles' performance, by the way, on Saturday.
So for his 30 minutes?
Well, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would say a 5.
Craig Revel forward. 3. Oh, he's very harsh, isn't he? 3 out of 10. I don't think you don't ever really get 3 out of 10s in newspapers, do you, for player ratings, but Craig Revel forward, you know what he's like?
Darcy Bussell.
What about Darcy Bussell? Darcy Bussell, who I am still a fan of. Yes, does it for me.
Do you know what? By the way, I will blame you now for making me watch Strictly Come Dancing this week.
Why?
Because I wanted to see them voting, because I wanted to know who these people were. I knew some of them, but what... I know why you watch it. You might as well just turn the sound down. There's no point having any sound on at all.
No, I pay attention to the footwork and the some other dance technical terms that I don't know about. For example, I was very impressed with the work of Gemma Atkinson this week.
Of course. Yeah,
I thought she was spectacular, her performance, and whoever dances with the vicar, Diane, I think, good dancer.
I tell you, I would say though, I didn't realise, but Debbie McGee's in it, isn't she?
She is, yes.
And I would say fair play to the lady. She lost her late husband, didn't she? But she's on everything at the moment. She's obviously now thinking, right, Joe, what? I'm going to go have a good time. She was on Celebrity MasterChef. She's on Strictly Come Dancing. I expect her to see her on Celebrity Get Me Out of Here. But good luck to her. But I thought, Joe, what? She's obviously getting out and doing something with her life and not sitting around at home and stuff. So that was good. That was me being very kind. But I did watch it. And obviously you can tell that's when I watched it, because she was on. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm a bit bored. I don't understand if they have a good dance or not.
No, I don't have a clue, really, to be honest with you. I just enjoy I don't really enjoy it at all, actually. I'll start watching it. I won't watch it this week. But anyway, as we were saying, before we got onto the subject of Debbie McGee and how she's getting about these days, what did Darcy Bussell give Darius Charles?
I'm going to say with 5.
Correct. Well done.
Yeah.
Yes. What about Shirley Ballas, who I still don't know? I still don't know who
she is. I watched it and still haven't got a clue who she is. I reckon she might be a bit harsher. 4.
Oh, she went the other way.
Really?
So 6. She was more impressed with Darcy.
Nice,
I am a lot more impressed with Darcy than I am Shirley, I've got to be honest with you. And finally, Bruno Tonioni, the man that knocks it down.
He'll go for 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
2 out of 4. Not bad. So Darius Charles, 19 out of 40 this week, so a little bit better than last week. I think he got 16.
Just wait until he plays his proper position.
Yes, absolutely. If that ever happens ever again. Anyway, 3-word reports on Twitter. Again, well, actually, I say again, we had loads, but this is more than ever before, I think, this week. So please check them out on Twitter at 9YRS Podcast to see them all. Search for the hashtag Don's 3-word report. and see lots and lots and lots on the theme of Ardley out, to be honest. That was the main takeaway from the reports we got this week. Our top three, were Mark E at Marky Womble. I think it's the second time this season. Bunch of blankers. We could go over the stats, couldn't we, Stu? But we don't want to keep reminding everyone about however many 16 goalless games out the last 21 or whatever it is. Anak T at Anak T. Keep the faith in capital letters. She's shouting at us to keep the faith. Well, we do keep the faith. We never lose the faith. Otherwise, if we lost the faith, we'd never go. And we'd probably give up the podcast. But I'm wondering if she's thinking maybe keep the faith in Neil Ardley, perhaps. And finally, at Wilksy1981, not travelling anymore.
Yes.
I think that sums up the mood of many, many, many fans at the moment who really don't fancy going up to Northampton because what are they going to see at the moment? Not a lot of excitement, if any, at this present time. Anyway, elsewhere in League One this weekend, your standout results, Stu?
It has to be Bristol Rovers winning 6-0 at Northampton. To go anywhere and win by six goals is brilliant, isn't it? And does us a great favour by putting Northampton into that great bit of form before they play us.
Great bit of
the bounce back.
Do you realise they're going to spend their whole week working on defending and defensive shape and everything, and we're doomed to another goalless draw at the Six Fields.
Nil. I've got a bet on nil.
I should do it every week, to be honest with you. Both teams have scored. No, not having that one.
What about you?
Doncaster, they were involved in a fixture in which both teams scored 4-1 over Southend. That's a great result for them because I still think they're going to struggle this season. But results like that, scoring 4 goals against Southend, something that we're never going to do and didn't do. So fair play to them. They've probably got enough to stay out of the bottom 4, but I still expect them to finish in the bottom half of the table this season. Anyway,
yeah.
Your hero of the week?
So my hero of the week is, do you know what? I haven't been to many away games for a little while, so always interesting. But I'm going to give it to the Oxford Stewards, who...
What?
The Oxford Stewards, well, do you know what? The most friendliest stewards going. Really polite. I went with Lorraine and her dad, who's in a wheelchair. They couldn't do enough for my wife and her dad. And actually, do you know what? They were very polite. And don't get me wrong, I know they just beat us. I don't think they're all Oxford fans. But even at the end, they wished me happy. Wished me a happy journey. And we were a bit late because we were doing the Facebook Live, so we didn't get out. I think I was the last one out. No moaning, no nothing. Very polite, very helpful. Yeah, I was really impressed with them.
Might be the first and only time stewards get your hero of the week.
I think it's important to recognise when you have good stewards, and they were really good stewards. So thank you, Oxford.
Yeah. If we'd have won 3-0, would it have been a different story?
Again, you don't. Yeah,
we'll never know. You don't know. No, it's another hypothetical. Mine was Dylan Adji Hersey, and we can thank Paul Raymond for this one because he alerted us to the tweet that the youngster, the Wimbledon Academy player, tweeted, explaining how he'd made an assist for the under-16s as they hammered that team 5-1 on the weekend. Then he went on to score the winner for the under-18s against the same opposition, obviously in the next age group up. So what a legend. Dylan, you are more prolific than pretty much all our strike force in the first team.
I was going to say, when's he going further up the levels?
Not long. It can't be long, can he? If he makes two in a week, he'll be there for the Rotherham game.
No, but yeah. But to be truthful, I have heard that name mentioned in the youth circles, and so it's not a name I haven't heard before. So yeah, it looks like he's obviously got some. We're not going to put too much pressure on him early on, but hey, it looks like he's got a good chance for the future.
Absolutely. Who's your villain?
Well, it's at Oxford as well. It's the Oxford Tannoy person.
The Oxford Tannoy person.
Well, I don't know what you call him, but many things I'd like to call him.
Tannoy announcer?
Not that he hear me, because it was the loudest Tannoy I have heard in,
since Scunthorpe.
Oh, no, Scunthorpe was well, actually, no, you're right. Scunthorpe was quite loud, wasn't it? Oxford, I just think, we did Facebook Live, and I can honestly say, if anyone watching, and by the way, thank you very much for the 2,500 people that have watched our after match Facebook Live, I could not hear a word. I was literally standing next to Kevin and Xavier. I could not hear a word they were saying. I couldn't even think for myself. It was just, wow.
Yes, I'm not sure about these tannoys. They're getting louder and louder. I don't see to what end. Very, very. I find them very, very irritating. But there we go. Not as irritating as my villain this week, which might surprise you. No, it's not Watford this week. Liam Trotter.
Oh, we're going to have to keep you away at match days, aren't we?
He's got
like, Nick, Liam's coming.
I don't normally single out players, do I? I don't recall ever doing this in the past. And I'm not going to do it on a match day either. I will support him, of course, like I will the whole team. But away from a match day, if I feel he has underperformed, which I feel he has done, then I'm going to give him grief for him.
Okay.
And I thought it was a wretched performance of his on Saturday. I really did. And I know it's not a great performance from anyone, in fact, as we've already mentioned, but particularly when I saw that second goal, the way he just lazily lost the ball and then didn't even jog, sort of strolled back. Not good enough. Not what we come to expect from Wimbledon central midfielders. I'm sure you'll agree. Anyway, one other hero, actually, I've got to mention is the kitmen, Robin Bedford and Trevor Williams, and whoever made the decision for us to play in blue away from home. I was so happy. All right, the result was rubbish. But to see us playing in blue away from home, I think it might be the first time in the league this season we've done that. I think I'm right in saying. And how good was it to see, Stu? You want to see your traditional colours being promoted when you go... Represented, sorry, would be a better word, when you go away from home, don't you?
Well, the worst thing was actually we did actually look like a Wimbledon team, so that was a bit of an embarrassment because we didn't play like a Wimbledon team. We looked like a Wimbledon team in their traditional colours, but we might as well be wearing green and camouflaged ourselves from playing.
Now, we could play in blue away at Northampton, but I'm assuming we're going to get the midweek home game the following Tuesday, which some will say about getting the kit ready in time, whatever. But I'm sure we could manage it if we really wanted to. I'm sure we've done Morecambe and Bristol in a week in the same kit before, so I'm sure we could manage it. But I will take it for now. Blue away from home. Let's just have more of it, please.
You're listening to these fine gentlemen and their new song, One Horse Town. Available now on iTunes and Spotify.
So, Stu, how much was your ticket to Oxford? And actually, on that note, how much was your ticket to Southend as well? How much did you pay to get into those two stadiums?
24 quid was Oxford, I believe.
Right.
I'm trying to think now. Yeah, I got a pound change out of 25 quid. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Good maths.
Southend, I think it was the same.
£24.
Yeah, because I think wasn't there the Southend, if you paid beforehand, you got a £2 or £3 discount, but I didn't. I got it in a day. So I think it was 24 quid at Southend as well, I believe.
Okay. Well, for me this season, Scunthorpe, £22. Blackburn also £24. Seated. All of those are seated, aren't they? Yes. I think the only terrace we've been to, Fleetwood this season, maybe. We won't count Barnet because that doesn't count. Hence, I won't count it because it doesn't count. Anyway, I was looking into this. So we charge £24 to away fans at Kingsmeadow for seats.
Really?
So £24 for a seat in the even though I like him, I'm still going to refer to it as the Kingston Road stand.
Okay. 24 quid. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, 24 quid. £17 on the East Terrace.
Yes.
But, I mean, come on. I mean, £17 is great value if you really enjoy swaying from side to side, jumping from foot to foot, trying to look over people's heads and shoulders, trying to watch the game. Saying that, Stu, maybe we should change places with the away fans because we wouldn't really have to bother, would we? There's nothing for us to see on the pitch, so we're not going to miss anything.
It depends who you're following as well, doesn't it? Because if you're following Rochdale, you can go right up to you can go and get a good view, can't you? But if you're a Pompey fan or something like that, then you ain't going to see nothing.
If you're not going to see nothing, you're going to see something.
Well, it depends how tall you are, isn't it? Do you know what I mean, if you're 5'0" you might as well just sit at the back and just listen to the atmosphere.
Just listen to the atmosphere at Kingsmeadow. Have you been drinking?
Well, that pin may just eventually drop.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. Anyway, right. Anyway, there is a campaign at the moment to ensure that tickets for away fans are capped at a certain level. £20 is the number mooted most commonly. We're wondering, is this a bit of a pipe dream? I know we've spoken about this many times before, but we think it's relevant at the moment because the Premier League at the moment have capped away tickets at £30, and I believe, Stuart, Southampton sponsors, which I believe are Virgin Media, I think. They've an agreement with Southampton, I think, that if they go to a stadium which charges more than £20, then the company will refund the difference. So if they go to West Ham and pay 40 quid for a ticket, the sponsors will pay for half the price of that. They'll pay 20 quid, okay? Which I think is a great gesture, yeah. So for Southampton, they're capped at £20 or whatever. But the Premier League, as we know, they've got £5 billion of TV revenue coming in, which means really they could reduce ticket prices even further. They could probably do it for free, possibly. Well, if they're not now, we can't be far off the way these TV packages are going, the rights fees that they're receiving. But we don't have that, do we? We don't have that luxury. And in reality, £30 for an away ticket for the Premier League, looking at your tickets that you've paid for away from home and that I've paid and what we charge at AFC Wimbledon, £24 seems to be the average. That's £6. Is there really £6 difference in quality between the Premier League and League One? Let's start at that point. We're talking about value for money. Are you telling me that anyone's going, right, you can go to watch Manchester United for 30 quid or you can go and watch Bury for 24 quid? Which one are you going to choose?
Of course. And you're right, there isn't. There's no way is it just, £6 worth of difference. But as you rightly said, as you started that, they've got £1 billion contracts. So realistically, the clubs can swallow their money that's coming in, actually gate receipts. Isn't really. I know Man U I think Man U get roughly about £1 million potentially per full Old Trafford. So yes, okay, that's quite a bit. So when you think about two sellouts at Old Trafford, basically that's our budget in a bit, isn't it? I think it's not £6 equality, and there's your problem. You're trying to attract. We're one of the only countries that has 4 leagues in the pro. 4 leagues in the professional leagues that actually have the support we have. You wouldn't get it in Italy, Spain, Germany, and stuff like that.
You could even argue we pretty much have 4.5 to 5.
Yeah, the conference is strong. But I think sometimes the price has gone up because we've had some really big clubs come down. So they've kept a certain. It's not surprised Blackburn's still high. Sheffield United was still high, wasn't it? Pompey's still high because they still think they're in the Premiership. That sort of thing. Where do you stop it now? Because realistically, you couldn't knock it down because, unless you've done a cap. But the biggest problem, I think the biggest reason why it's so high is because the money that's coming down, the money shared from the Premier League is so low. And even in the TV money, it's 80% for the Championship. So the money even coming from the Championship is way out of proportion, which is why everyone does their high prices in terms of tickets. But to answer your question, no, £24 for a League One game is crazy.
It's only going to get worse, though, isn't it? Because at the moment, we've got the Premier League have at the moment, it's just a minor dispute, isn't there, between the top 6, the big 6, the so-called big 6, and the rest of the league about sharing the TV money, because the top 6 want a bigger share of it because they believe that they drive most of the viewing figures, which in their interests, if you're looking at from their argument, I can't really deny, because sometimes, I like watching a game of football, but you're more often going to watch Manchester City versus Arsenal than, maybe not I wouldn't personally, but people would, than they are going to watch Stoke versus Leicester, for example.
Yeah, you're right. But they want to, I think what basically the Big 6 want to do is they've also wanted to negotiate their own contracts, which would be a death knell for. It would. If you remember years ago, it happened in the Italian Serie A.
Killed it.
And I know football in this country probably is a bit further forward. That was going back to the late 90s, early 2000s. But it did. They tried to do the same thing. The reason why the Premiership is so well loved is because there is a certain competitiveness to it. Would Leicester City have, the equivalent of Leicester City won the Premiership in Germany, for argument's sake? Bayern tend to win that most times, and Dortmund behind that, wasn't it? But if you take the competitive edge away from it, then I don't know what happens to the game. Do you know what I mean? Because your top 6 become bigger. Would the money? How does the money filter down? You then get the clubs that are going to continuously be relegated would then be too strong for the Championship. It would just eventually kill all the levels of football.
What I am seeing in life, in the world in general, is all those predictions that people have had for many, many years, dating back to George Orwell and Huxley and everyone like that. They're all going to come true. They might not come true as quickly as we imagined, but they will come true. So the top 6, whatever, eventually they're going to force through, in my opinion, a 39th game based, like the NFL are doing. That's going to happen. I guarantee you that will happen. If that doesn't happen, that will only happen if before that, the European Breakaway League, which has been on the radar for decades and decades, that will become a reality as well, because all you're going to see is Champions League is going to have the same thing. The top, however many clubs, 8, 12, 16 clubs in Europe are going to say, look, Champions League at the moment, We're driving the revenue. It's not the group stages and all those minor teams that make up the numbers in those stages. It's us, and they're going to want bigger shares of that, and so on, so on, so on. So eventually, the only logical conclusion in this day and age will be a European Breakaway League. So not any of this is positive for clubs like ourselves, is it? Because at the moment, as we said, what are we selling? What is attracting people to us at the moment when you consider tightening budgets across the country, across the world? Okay, so what I mean by this is we're talking about value for money, and an average ticket for an adult at Kingsmeadow this season is £22.50. Right, that's the average of where you want to sit in the ground. Okay, what are you paying for? £22.50. Multiply that by, say you don't get a season ticket because you can't make every game, but multiply that by 20 for argument's sake, looking at 450 quid. What are you paying for? What is attracting people to spend that money at our club? I'll tell you for why, because we're looking at declining attendances. So we're looking at TV money going up. Because TV money goes up, what else has to go up is the TV channels have to provide more content to justify the money they're spending. So you're going to get more televised games. They're talking, what's the latest thing I saw? Another Saturday fixture. I think they're looking at maybe doing an evening Saturday fixture as well now. So attendance is just going to fall further and further. People are going to get more value for money by paying for their TV subscription to watch on the TV than they will come into the games. And really, we seem to be in a position where we are banking on the hardcores, the captive fans almost, the ones that will pay no matter what. The yous and the me's.
Yeah, you are. You're relying on loyalty, aren't you? You're relying on loyalty. Which is not great when we're potentially moving into a new ground in 2 years, and we're going to have to attract new fans. Will new fans come to a new shiny stadium, or will they go down the road to Fulham, who advertise in Wimbledon and wherever they can because they can? And you can go to Fulham for I think the season ticket for Fulham are just as cheap as us or cheaper for Championship football. You've got Brentford down the road from Kingsmeadow, who can offer you an attractive Saturday entertainment. They're moving into a new ground as well, so they compete with that. Yeah, you are struggling. What does need to happen, and it won't happen because people are greedy. This, if we look at the EPPP, that was greed. That took away the fact that we get now is clubs stockpiling players, and we now, we've seen the effect of that, haven't we? No longer the days where you can keep your good players. But it just becomes
this is the
greed.
elite player performance plan you're talking about.
Yeah. So it's greed. So nowadays you lose players for next to nothing because the top clubs want that. So all the top clubs now want all the money, and that's where it's coming from. So, bearing in mind, if they want to keep a healthy structure in the football, the Football League want to the Premiership needs to release more money. The Football League need to release more of the, rather than giving the Championship 80% of the money, they need to make sure maybe 50% of the Championship. This is why it's always missed, and it makes me chuckle. Why did the Championship need 80% of the money, and we get 12% from my memory of the money, and 8% goes to League Two?
Doesn't make any sense.
How? And this is the thing, isn't it? How does that make any sense? But that always gets, the Football League, they control that. All it basically happens is you get clubs that spend above what they can afford. So the Berries of this year, we all have a Berry, don't we? Before that it was York City, who let's look at where York City are now. But you get clubs chasing an impossible dream, Notts Forest, Bolton, all the teams. You know what I mean? They spend above what they've got. A big club will crash eventually. But fans can choose. If I was a fan now, if I was a youngster, would I be a Wimbledon fan unless I had a real heritage, like, father, grandfather? But nowadays, they're just going to go to Premiership, aren't they?
Yeah. Or, as you say, Championship, local Championship clubs. Because
go to Fulham.
Because the cost is no different, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No different at all. So, let's be fair, Kingsmeadow, it's been great for us, but matchday experience? Yeah.
Yeah, -5 stars. It's very, very poor at the moment. Do we have any short-term things we could possibly do that could improve matters in terms of at least the matchday atmosphere and matchday experience? Maybe we could turn Kingsmeadow at half-time into one of those old 90s warehouse raves. How good would that be? Just an evening game against Rotherham. Turn the floodlights off, just give everyone a load of glow sticks. Okay, so we've talked about, let's just wrap this up. Ticket prices then. We are There's no escape. Unfortunately, we've probably talked a lot there and come to the conclusion that actually there's not a lot we can do at this very moment in time, except for paint a very dark picture of what awaits us. But not just because of our poor form at the moment. Do you think anyone, by the way, in this league is getting value for money whatsoever, apart from Shrewsbury fans? Before you go on about them,
it depends, doesn't it? It depends. I suppose, you know what, when you win, it's anything that when you win, you think you're getting value for money. If we had this conversation last season or maybe before we run into the Plymouth playoff final, we'd have paid 40, 50 quid to go and watch our team, wouldn't we? I think, it's difficult, isn't it? We're a bit defeatist at the moment, so I suppose 22.50 feels a lot. But there probably are, the teams that are winning are getting value for money. The teams that are losing are feeling a little bit sorry for themselves.
And the only thing I would add to finish this off is to say we've talked about our audience and our attendances at the moment, and almost having a captive audience of the very loyal supporters that will be there every season are the ones like you and me that pay money to the club in different ways and means. Loyalty, it's not endless. It does have an expiration date on it if you're not careful. So we should never take for granted that there is an endless source of people like ourselves that will be there forever to put their hands in their pockets.
Who do you think you are?
And it feels good to be actually now talking about something less depressing than our current games or our lack of attendances or the money we play. Let's have a bit of fun, Stu, with our game, which I know you love, you enjoy fully, since you've actually not too bad at this. You're not too bad at this. Right, Jimmy Abdu, obviously had a long international trip, didn't he, this week? So he did very well to squeeze this visit into an ex-player. So well done, Jimmy. We'd never have got Liam Trotter to do this game, would we? He could be bothered. Just come back every week going, no, I didn't find anyone this week.
Poor Liam Trotter, mate. What has he done to you?
Nothing. That's the problem. He's done absolutely nothing, and that is the problem. Anyway, this player this week that Jimmy Abdu has gone to visit, he has played for many, many clubs, including a Welsh team, and he had a very short spell in America as well, where he drank lots of tea and clearly put the bag in first. Before the milk, obviously.
Lots of clubs and played in America. Oh, my days.
Where he drank lots of tea, there is a clue.
Tea? So tea, caffeine? No. I'm not very good with the cryptic clues.
No.
Who went to America? He had loads of clubs. Vaughan Ryan.
Vaughan Ryan.
Just because I don't know if he had lots of clubs, but I just thought it was a good name to chuck out there for old time's sake.
Stuart Ripley one week, Shrewsbury Flower Show the next week. Vaughan Ryan. Wow.
Vaughan Ryan. Hey, nothing wrong with Vaughan Ryan. He was one of my first... Yeah, Vaughan Ryan was one of my first players that was... He's the first player I remember was the scapegoat. When things went wrong, blame Vaughan.
Oh, I'm glad you got there in the end, because at many points that sentence took so long to come out. I wondered where you were going with it. He was my first... Anyway,
It's not Vaughan Ryan then, though.
Well, it's unlikely considering, but I don't think I've heard the name or thought of the name Vaughan Ryan since probably the first time I got a Wimbledon programme and saw his name in the back cover.
He's on Twitter.
Brilliant. I'll search him out now.
Cool.
What's he at? What's his Twitter handle?
I don't know, but he has conversations with Simon Bassett a lot. That's why I see him.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I was going to bring him onto our podcast, but judging by our reaction, I don't think he'd come on now.
I know we have to get Vaughan Ryan on this podcast. Look, we've done over 100 episodes yet. We still haven't got Michael Roots on the podcast. We have to get these players on. Michael Roots is coming on very soon. Let's get him on. Anyway, this player scored 23 goals for us in 2 seasons.
David Connolly.
Oh, that's good. But technically, he only played 1 season for us. In inverted commas.
Of course, yes. That went in dodgy ground, didn't it?
Let's move swiftly on. Okay, this player is still playing. Playing in League 2 currently, actually. He's scored more league goals this season than the entire Wimbledon team.
Ooh, still playing League 2. Went to America.
Yeah, listen, that's a cryptic clue, though, Stu. Think about it. America, where he drank lots of tea. Where in America would you drink lots of tea? Possibly.
I don't know.
You do know a place in America that sort of goes hand in hand with the word tea.
Still playing. I'm really lost today. Playing in League. This is when a team does really badly. I lose a will to live. Still in League 2. So we've got Danny Hilton, Bayo, I'm lost on this one. Adebayo Akinfenwa.
Correct. Well done. We got there.
I'm a genius.
You're a genius, but you still haven't worked out this T clue, have you? And this American clue.
No, but so the T thing go for me, and then Adebayo.
Okay, this is
Adebayo.
well, no, it's nothing to do with his name. T. When I think of tea in America, I think of the Boston Tea Party. Boston United are in Lincolnshire, and he played 3 games for them.
Did he get paid? Did he get paid by envelopes?
Well, there's so many. Do you know what? There's so many jokes we could go into actually about Boston and what he was paid
Steve
for.
Evans, was he?
It would have been Steve Evans' time, so probably it was.
Oh, no wonder he enjoyed his
no
time.
Wonder, yeah, I know.
Sorry.
He made millions.
Anyway, let's move that. Let's cut that because that'll just be the solicitors will love us for that.
Do you want the anagram clue? We never got there.
Yeah, go for it.
Dyke of Banana Orday.
Yeah. Oh, we've got Joe on. We've so got to tweet that to Bayo. Bayo, by the way, we've just done an anagram of your name. Do you like it?
Do you like it? And then get the little message, Adebayo Akinfenwa has unfollowed you.
Yeah. Bayo is unbelievably disappointed. But hey, by the way, Adebayo. Bayo has a book coming out very soon, by the way.
He does. Maybe we should get him on the podcast to promote it.
Well, maybe we should get him down to Wimbledon and just do some autographs and sign the book. That'd be a great evening, wouldn't it? Come down for that.
Yeah, it's never going to happen.
I wonder if we're in there, Bertley.
Of course we would be. It was Wembley. Of course it has to be. Yeah, Wembley scored against Liverpool, his boyhood club. Of course we will be. It'd
be interesting. I know we're sidetracking as we always do, but I wonder if there's going to be any stories in there that are going to be juicy and behind the scenes and stuff like that. So you may talk about his penalty situation and stuff like that. Could be quite an interesting book to read. I think I'll get it.
I hope it's juicy and a bit behind the scenes, because otherwise it's going to be a very boring book, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Played football, scored goals, made a fashion label,
beat people up,
ate chicken.
A lot of chicken.
A lot of chicken. Right. Northampton on Saturday in a battle of the bottom 4. Their 6-0 defeat to Bristol Rovers last weekend means they've now gone 5 games without scoring and 6 games without winning. So we've been talking about value for money. Why is anyone bothering to pay to watch this game? I don't know why. Why am I going, Stu? Took me out of it.
No.
I'm glutton for punishment.
No, I'm not, because I'm not going, so someone's got to do Facebook Live, so
Kevin
it's your turn. Yeah, Kevin does a great job, by the way. Yeah, no, I'm not going. I've decided that I'm going to vote with my feet. Actually, I'm not. I'm just skint, and I don't see. I can't
I totally misheard you there. I thought you said photo my feet. I thought, okay, that's a bit of a random thing to do instead of going to football. But if you want to take pictures of your feet, not going to argue.
Yeah, I'll be. I'm hoping that me not going when I said I was going to go means we're going to win, and it's going to all backfire. I pray that's going to be the case, but I think I will be betting for a 0-0 draw.
Right, Crooks, your main man, Matt Crooks, he's injured. He's out for a little while, and he has been for a couple of games, actually. Alex Revel is suspended, although I'm not really too bothered if he'd have been playing, to be honest with you. Have they got anyone else? I've noted their strikers. Matt Richards, we've talked about for years. Not really doing much at the moment. Sam Hoskins, I think, up front. So, anyone other than that? Anything?
Can I be honest? I haven't really had a look at their team.
Cobblers.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't really think it's. I don't mean, you can tell the team's not playing very well just by judging by their results. And
that 6-0 defeat was a bit of a giveaway.
Yeah, a bit of a giveaway. And the fact is that Crooks is their top goal scorer.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So, Richards is very much, I think, a League 2 striker. Hasn't really done much in League 1 with it. I actually do think Revel being injured does help. I think he's done all right at Rotherham and stuff like that. I think he's a handful. Let's be fair, we're not. I know you're saying, we should be able to deal with players like Revel, but we haven't before. He is decent enough. No, I haven't looked at their team. I do like the way Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank has responded following that defeat. He's very much, and we discussed this before we actually started recording, didn't we? But he's inherited a team, so he can call them out and go. They're playing for their contracts and stuff like that. But he's responding in a very hurt, but in a positive approach to a defeat. He's basically gone, look, you're playing for your contract. So fans will relate to that because they're probably going, hey, look, he got a 2-year contract under the previous manager. He didn't deserve that. Whereas Neil Ardley called the players out and can't really do that because he signed most of his. So I think Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank probably would get him G'd up this week. It just depends how we turn up. If we start to feel sorry for ourselves, then we are in big trouble. If we feel we've stuck a rocket up their proverbials, then, hey, we got a bit of a chance.
What changes do you expect Neil Ardley to make then?
None.
None at well. We'll have you one.
I don't know. He goes light for light. You know, what I'd like him to do is really make some real effective changes. You know, possibly the fact of going 3 at the back. Do something that Northampton are not expecting, because if you're scouting us, you roughly know we're going to play a 4-3-3, and the chances are we're going to play Bartram, McDonald, and Lyle. The chances are we're going to play 2 centres. You know what I mean? The chances are we're going to play Barry Fuller at right back, and if you can squeeze high enough, you're going to knock it long and we can't win it. All the same things that we know as Wimbledon fans or watching games how to scout us. So let's do something totally different. Let's chuck them in a 3-5-2, chuck Andy Hartskin in there, play 2 in the middle. But that ain't going to happen.
Quick prediction.
0-0.
For Northampton? 0-0. Okay, I'm going to go for 1-1 because I'm going to get a score, but I don't think we're going to win. I don't think there's a chance in hell, but I hope I proved wrong. Updates will be available on Twitter at 9YRS Podcast, Instagram as well, and of course, as Stu's mentioned, Facebook Live, facebook.com/9YRS Podcast to get notified once we go live. What other game will you be looking out for on Saturday in League One?
Oh yeah, I did do some research on that.
That's nice of you.
There's a couple that I looked at. Bristol Rovers versus Oxford.
Yep.
Because Bristol Rovers just won 6-0. Oxford, I really liked Oxford, and they're starting to improve. And I'm going to have a keen eye on Rotherham versus Scunthorpe, because Rotherham are 4th in the league at the moment.
Really?
Be interested. Yeah, they've crept up. It's amazing, isn't it? So interesting to see. So that's a playoff. That's a playoff place game at the moment, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see how they do. I'm hoping Scunthorpe go and kick them off the pitch and get injured quite a lot of their players. Hopefully,
that'd be handy, wouldn't it?
You know, within the rules, no one gets too seriously hurt, of course, being like that. But it would be nice for Rotherham to pick up some injuries or suspensions, because that midweek game does concern me a little bit.
Just a little bit. Okay, that is finally the end of this week's show. Thank you for listening. We hope we haven't depressed you too much. And please remember to like us and subscribe to us on either iTunes or YouTube, wherever you are listening or wherever you're listening from. Or if you're listening through our website, 9yrspodcast.org, just leave a nice little comment for us with your thoughts on what we've been talking about and your thoughts on the show. Thank you, Stu, for joining me.
No problem.
And please join us next week when we will be speaking to the Wales manager, Chris Coleman, about where his managerial standing would be were it not for Gareth Bale. Alexa Bliss, bag first, milk last, and we will speak to you again next week.